You only need to know me. I will be the one.
This video contains spoilers for the recent One Piece chapter 1107. Anyways, the story seems to be hurtling towards its conclusion, but we need to make a few stops before that finale. Many have debated who the final villain of One Piece might be, but I think what happened in chapter 1107 makes it increasingly likely that the final villain will not be Blackbeard. That instead, Blackbeard is the next major obstacle for Luffy to take down, which kind of makes sense given that Luffy told Law he would take down the Yonko, the four emperors. Besides Shanks, Blackbeard is the last remaining emperor on that list. And when Luffy mentioned defeating the four emperors, he was only holding up 3 fingers. This implies Luffy doesn't want to fight Shanks in that sort of way, but he does want to fight Blackbeard. And Oda is setting up a series of events that will give Luffy exactly what he wants, for better or worse, as the eras of Luffy and Blackbeard collide. So we see in chapter 1107, Luffy punches Saturn several times, sending Saturn flying to the ground where Katarina Devon and Von Augur are standing, waiting. We'll get into more detail for the plan of the Blackbeard pirates in a minute, but Saturn asks them, why are they here? And why the fearsome criminals of Impel Down level 6 would submit to someone like Blackbeard. Katarina Devon tells us it's because Blackbeard, Marshal D. Teach, is special. And then Saturn and the Blackbeard pirates get into a conversation about Blackbeard's bloodline or lineage, and how the goal of the Blackbeard pirates, especially Blackbeard himself, is the world.
One Piece.
A connection is being drawn between Blackbeard's past, his special lineage or bloodline or ancient race, and the entire world of One Piece as some sort of grand objective. And so, what can we take away from the Blackbeard pirates saying that their goal, their diabolical plan, includes the world? Almost to say that they, the Blackbeard pirates, are going after the world itself. And so what does that mean exactly? Is Oda suggesting the Blackbeard pirates want to destroy the world? As alluded to by Blackbeard's actions on Marineford, where Blackbeard said he would destroy everything, swallow everything, consume everything until nothing was left. Just as a man of darkness should be, a human black hole, all-consuming, all-destroying. Not even the light of this world can escape. Or is Oda implying that the Blackbeard pirates want to change this world? No different than so many other figures in One Piece that have made that famous declaration that one day they would change this world. Monkey D. Dragon's words. The former Emperor Big Mom's dream of equality for all races, and even the dream of Kaido where equality can only be found by war in his view. Waging war on the entire world with the help of the ancient weapons is what they, Big Mom and Kaido, the former Rocks pirates, had told us they had planned, until Luffy once again foiled their plans. And speaking of ancient weapons, we see that Caribou is looking to join the Blackbeard pirates. Caribou appears to admire Blackbeard in the same way that Bartolomeo admires Luffy. And so in much the same way that Shiryu of the Rain told us that he'd been waiting for a man like Blackbeard. Not merely naturally born leaders, but inherent kings worthy of following. Maybe there is something in the background of Caribou and the other Blackbeard pirates that makes the destruction of the world appealing to them. Maybe there is something that makes acquiring the ancient weapons appealing to them. Maybe there is something about the liberation of these level 6 pirates from Impel Down. Maybe there is a connection between this and Blackbeard's ambition. The world that Blackbeard aspires to create. Katarina Devon declaring the mission was complete after touching Saturn. Katarina Devon touching Saturn gives her the power and authority of Saturn if she copies his appearance, and so the authority of an elder, a Gorosei member, to use the Mother Flame, a possible replica of Uranus. Combine that with Caribou joining the Blackbeard pirates and his knowledge of the location of two ancient weapons, Fishman Island's Shirahoshi and Poseidon, and also Wano's Pluton. Blackbeard might acquire all three ancient weapons, giving him everything he needs, all the power to destroy the world. And so the world, to destroy the world or create a new world. If it's creating a new world, what would that world look like exactly? Maybe we got a preview from Beehive Island, also known as Pirate Island, and Blackbeard explaining that he wanted to exchange a hero of the Marines, Kobe, in return for the title of a king of his own country being bestowed upon him. If we put two and two together, a king and the world, it does echo the man Oda has linked Blackbeard to, Rox Xebec, and his desire to become king of the world. And so inherited will if Blackbeard wants to become the king of the world too. Blackbeard is a character portrayed as someone seeking more and more power still. If we consider Lafitte breaking into the Holy Land, and now Katarina Devon touching a Gorosei member, from Sengoku to Saturn, getting closer and closer to Imu. And by touching Saturn, Katarina Devon should be able to now transform into him. Maybe the Blackbeard pirates will go to the Holy Land again, together, either to defeat the Gorosei and Imu, or to have a conversation with them about the past and anything involving Blackbeard's special lineage or ancient race. If this is referring to something other than the D-Clan, the D-Clan being a sort of lineage too, if this is referring to an ancient race of people, maybe Blackbeard's people were enslaved or destroyed by the founders of this world in the aftermath of the Void Century by Imu, the Gorosei, and Celestial Dragons. His people destroyed, wiped out, no different than the Lunarians or recently revealed Buccaneers. A great cleansing. Could Blackbeard want revenge? Why would Blackbeard, unlike the other special races or ancient races of One Piece, why would Blackbeard not also pray to or worship the Sun God? Is there another god or a darker force that Blackbeard is seen as an answer to? An answer to people's dreams, or better yet, their nightmares. A liberating force that is more aligned with anarchy and the forces of destruction, chaos, and darkness, compared to whatever Luffy represents as the Sun God. The Sun God being an answer to people's dreams, those that yearn for freedom. Maybe Blackbeard is an answer to the dreams of those that yearn for freedom as well. But instead of freedom, anarchy, chaos, the destruction of the world. Replacing the world with one of piracy, where so-called criminals roam free, where there is no such thing as an outcast. Blackbeard declared that he wanted to create a country of criminals. He was shown during Wano laughing at all the chaos and disorder in the world, from the revolutionaries fighting the world government at the Reverie and elsewhere. No different than Doflamingo reading the newspaper in Impel Down, laughing at the world too. Maybe this hints at something, and so when Vegapunk speaks of a white warrior, when referring to Luffy as the Sun God, the warrior of liberation, maybe there is a black warrior that has yet to make an appearance, the warrior of chaos, a man of darkness. But the world, and the king of the world, what does any of this potentially reveal about Blackbeard's dream, or Blackbeard declaring that this is his era? Well, Rox desired to become the king of the world, and the only way to become king is to overthrow the current king of the world. If will and desires can be inherited, if dreams are a form of power in One Piece, becoming devil fruits, then Blackbeard's speech that a man's dream never ends is more important than we thought. What I'm getting at was teased earlier. The reason for Katarina Devon touching Saturn and saying mission complete. Could Blackbeard know that the empty throne is not actually empty? Does Blackbeard know about the existence of Imu? How Imu rose to power? If Blackbeard has read similar books as the one Ivankov and Dragon shared with Sabo, the books revealing Imu's immortality, which Oda also teased Blackbeard having knowledge of, the true ability of the Ope Ope Nomi after defeating the law, the world or new world Blackbeard is after. Maybe Blackbeard knows that in order for a new era to be created, the old era must be destroyed. This is perhaps what Imu Narona did in the past to become king of the world in the first place. Imu destroying the ancient kingdom, destroying the old world, the old era, to create the Void Century, the Century of Mu, the era of Imu. This would tie into Blackbeard's Marineford speech about destroying and swallowing everything, that this was his era, and if the new world Blackbeard seeks requires defeating and dethroning Imu, Blackbeard's Devil Fruit, the Yami Yami Nomi power of darkness that can nullify the devil's power, is convenient. For many of us believe Imu to have the power of the devil or sea devil masquerading as a god, the god of the One Piece world. And as I said in the Darkest One Piece Theory on YouTube video about Luffy's ties to Lucifer, devil fruits are born from our desires. Rox Xebec's desire to become king of the world. Devil fruits are born from dreams. The devil had a dream to replace God, to become God. And so, if the devil of One Piece had a dream, what would that power manifest as? The power to defeat God. The Yami Yami Nomi, the power to defeat the sun god Luffy, or the false god and king of the world, Imu Narona. But this suggests that there can be more than one devil in the story, or more than one portrayal of a devil or demon, and we'll get to that as well. But first, a man's dream never dies, never ends. But whose dream? Who is the man this dream belongs to? This dream that didn't die. This dream that appears to have been inherited by Blackbeard. Are we positive this is referring solely to Rox Xebec? Or could it be someone else? Roger told us he wasn't going to die, and we see a resemblance of Roger and Luffy, as Shanks notices Luffy saying the same words as Roger. Luffy and Roger have the same dream, it appears. Roger's dream didn't die, and it seems increasingly likely that the dream of Roger's first and greatest rival, Rox Xebec, Xebec's dream, is alive as well. It lives on in Blackbeard. But we are told that Rock's ambition was to become king of the world, no different than Luffy's ambition is to become Pirate King. That's a goal, an ambitious goal, but not necessarily a dream. Luffy's dream is something different, something grander at the end of the Grand Line. So what was Rock's true dream? And by extension, what is Blackbeard's true dream? Our dreams often start from childhood, so let's start there. As a child, Oda depicts Luffy as happy, but showcases Blackbeard as a crying boy. Light and darkness, the sun and the moon, dreams and nightmares. We know Luffy is a dreamer, but it seems like Blackbeard has either inherited a dream or a nightmare. Beyond Roger in the One Piece, we know that Joy Boy also was unable to finish the job. Perhaps he was also too early. Joy Boy's broken promise to many around the world, especially the residents of Fishman Island. But they have been waiting for him to return, and now he has. I'd say Joy Boy's promise, as represented by the Straw Hat, was left to Roger, and from there left to Luffy. And so beyond Rox Xebec, we have to ask, whose will did Xebec inherit that has now passed down to Blackbeard? in an endless cycle of undying dreams. Oda's commentary on how people, races, cultures, societies, kingdoms can endure throughout the ages by various means: immortality, cloning, resurrection, inherited will, dreams passed down over time. I wonder if any of this alludes to Blackbeard, the particular will of D that he has inherited, or the last survivor of a lineage or special race, in terms of resurrection, and how this ties into Blackbeard's dark plan for the world. It is important to consider the secret the Blackbeard pirates know about their captain, how this might all tie into Blackbeard's famous speech, that there is no end to the dreams of man. Blackbeard crying as a child reminds me of Law in the aftermath of the destruction of the country of Flevence, how he appears to have been the sole survivor, how children are shaped by war and suffering. Law covered in grenades told us he wanted to destroy everything, the entire world. Blackbeard as a child stumbled onto Whitebeard's ship as a poor orphan boy, unless that was a trick as well. So you have to wonder if his experience is similar, if his views are similar. But Law saw the light, whereas Blackbeard saw only darkness. No wonder Oda had the two of them clash on Winter Island. Just like Ace. Which will win? The light or the darkness? The sun or the darkness? In those past battles, darkness won. In chapter 544, Blackbeard said he would put on a show that would shake the entire world. A performance. He said this on more than one occasion, I believe. Something that I found interesting is the role of Lafitte that is regularly highlighted by Oda, as we recently saw him whispering in Blackbeard's ear. Oda has portrayed Blackbeard as a showman. His goofy-looking crew should remind you of a circus or carnival crew. I think Lafitte has even echoed this or supported it. The notion of a show. Blackbeard reiterating he would put on the ultimate show after Whitebeard died, and Lafitte depicted as one of the circus ringleaders as Blackbeard went under the cloak of darkness to steal Whitebeard's powers. Lafitte is shown holding the cloak, the black cape, directing or orchestrating the show, or at the very least supporting it. Lafitte reminds me of a magician, even though Oda already gave that role or title to Basil Hawkins, and the stealing of Whitebeard's power is portrayed as a magic trick. And now for the grand finale of this show, we might be in for a big reveal that the Blackbeard pirates have been planning for some time. Something to really get the audience standing on their feet. Given Katarina Devon touching Saturn and taking notice of his demonic-looking powers. Different than your normal devil fruit. It could be that Lafitte's title, Demon Sheriff, is more important than at first appears. The guard of a demon. Although the term devil and demon are frequently used to label people that do allegedly bad things in One Piece, like Roger and others, those that go against the world government, so they aren't necessarily bad. But what stands out to me is not just the sea devil that supposedly created devil fruits, but a special race of giants, the ancient giants and Oars, who was called a devil or demon in the past. Notice that Oars has the same 3-skull design, a set of 3 skulls just like Blackbeard's Jolly Roger, an omen of sorts, a prophecy. It represents something, the return of something maybe, just like normal giants worship and pray for the return of the sun god Luffy. What if the ancient giants worship and pray for the return of a demon? Oars was said to have been found, frozen to death, in a land that is known as the Land of Ice. A snowy country where the temperatures were cold enough to kill even a creature like Oars. Oda once told us that people who live in snowy countries don't sleep, because if they fall asleep, they die. So maybe Oars died in a snowy country, the Land of Ice, after falling asleep in the cold, and froze to death. although this information was shared with us via Luffy, so who knows how accurate Luffy's recollection of what he was told is. I would imagine Shanks might have been the one to tell Luffy this given Shanks' history with Blackbeard, and the reveal that Blackbeard as a child till now has never slept. And when Oda drew Blackbeard as a child, we see him crying under a moon surrounded by darkness, with a pile of snow at his feet, a land of ice, a snowy country. Blackbeard doesn't sleep has been connected to this legend about people not sleeping in snowy countries for a while now. Maybe there's a broader connection here between the ancient giants, Oars, the land of ice, snowy countries, Blackbeard, and the three skulls they have in common. If the ancient giants have any ties to Elbaf, maybe they come from a certain area. Maybe there are different lands just as there might be different giants. A land of ice, a land of fire, possibly similar to Wano. And as I mentioned, some worship the sun. Others worship a devil or demon from the snow. Something that might tie into what I pointed out in the recent video on Luffy and the Throne Wars of Elbaf. That Elbaf might have more than one legend, as it is a land of fables, a land of stories. There could be a story, a prophecy, about the rising sun, the dawn, Luffy, but also a story about the coming night and the long winter, Blackbeard. Elbaf in the Big Mom flashback even mentioning a god of destruction. And so returning to the show, that carnival show that the Blackbeard pirates, particularly Blackbeard and the demon sheriff Lafitte, might be about to put on for the world. This circus act might involve the resurrection of ancient powers besides the ancient weapons of One Piece. The resurrection of a demon, a devil, resurrecting rocks or some figure from the Void Century that parallels Luffy's Joy Boy. And so, what does Blackbeard have planned exactly? As we see him laugh after acquiring new powers. Blackbeard describing two abilities, the power of earthquakes to destroy the world, and the power of darkness to return the world to nothing. Nothing being the world's beginning, from which new things can be created. The implication being that nobody can stand against him, not even the king of the world. The world, the goal of the Blackbeard pirates, as if a foreshadowing of what's to come. After destroying Marineford, Blackbeard says, "Show it to the world, to all the boring, peace-loving citizens, to the Marines, to the world government, and to all the pirates out there. The world's future has been decided. That from now on, this is Blackbeard's era." Even the bystanders wonder if this is a bad dream, and so a nightmare Blackbeard had brought upon the world. And Blackbeard is of the belief that with the death of Whitebeard, who was regarded as the world's strongest man at the time, that he, Blackbeard, is now the world's strongest man. How quickly Blackbeard realizes that no, there is still so much more to do. After Shanks arrives and Blackbeard says he's not ready for him. And again, if Blackbeard knows about the existence of Imu, there is still more power for Blackbeard to acquire. He's not at the top yet. There is a king in this world, sitting at the very top, sitting in the way of whatever new world Blackbeard desires. But as usual, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts below, and subscribe. You can also find me on Twitter, the following address at Vinland Ragnar. My Twitter page is on the screen. Also check out my spoiler channel called Vinland, where I'll be covering the One Piece spoilers as well as turning your comments into videos. And check out the One Piece news channel, D-News, where I'll be covering news in the One Piece community starting in March. Again, the links will be in the description box and pinned in the comments section below. As always, there's more to come. Until next time.